Welcome back. We start the conversation this morning with some good news to all married men who live in the western part of Africa, particularly Nigeria. You can now heave a sigh of relief following a recent announcement. Now, the federal government announced the commencement of 14 working day paternity leave for civil servants. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi, disclosed this in a circular stating that the government has also approved paternity leave for 7 male officers whose spouse delivers a baby. The period of the leave shall be 14 working days.
Now, this is believed to help encourage supporting fathers to play more significant roles in their children's lives. Nigeria joins other African countries such as Mauritius, which introduced 1 week paternity leave in 2008. In 2010, Rwanda introduced 4 days, and the Gambia introduced 2 weeks. The Democratic Republic of Congo, a low-income country, offers less than 3 weeks of paid paternity leave. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting. And you know why this is an important conversation to have is because when we talk about caring, the first few moments a child is brought to the world is very important to aid bonding. Typically, it's why when a woman has a baby, the first thing the nurses will usually do, even before cleaning up the baby, is most times to put the baby on the mother's chest to aid bonding. So you see those days when the baby is fresh out of the womb is when the baby is getting used to your voice, getting used to bonding with the parent. And what we find is it's usually the mothers. It's bonding with the mothers. But this child has 2 parents, a mother and a father. Also, the period right after delivery can be really particularly difficult for a lot of women who experience postpartum depression. So there's the blues that sets in. I then don't have the support of the father because you don't sleep all through the night. When the child is born, the child has to feed every 2 hours.
Yeah.
You know,
so I think that the second part, you just mentioned for me is the most important, part. Most Nigerian wives, and mothers would always complain of the absence of the man, in those periods, which I feel are some of the most important periods where he should actually be there. A lot of men, do not still understand the level of support that they should offer their wives in moments like that. They still don't understand why their presence is very necessary, and they would argue that they're out there hustling, trying to make ends meet and try to provide for the family. But it's also very important that they spend enough time. If you also have listened to loads of conversations, many women will complain that even the sexual, activity in that period during pregnancy and post-pregnancy completely disappears because a lot of men, kind of run away from it. So it's important, and I wish that it was more than 14 days. I wish that it was a lot more. Like, for example, in other parts of the world, in Lithuania, you get as much as 30 days with 77% pay and an additional 36 months that you can take consecutively. In Japan, you have 1 full year of 67% of your pay and 50% for the second half of the year. Actually, for the second year. Sweden also offers as much as 480 days. Estonia offers 2 weeks with 100% pay plus an additional 435 days. These are just countries that, of course, have always had paternity leave. And, this is how much that they offer. Here we have just 14 days.
Yes. Iceland offers 12 months split, between father and mother. And then Nigeria, interestingly, whilst we're talking about an increased paternity leave, there are states in Nigeria that have done well. For example, Oyo State allows fathers to have an increased paternity leave. And we're talking about Lagos State only recently increased the maternity leave in 2018 from 3 months to 4 months. So we're looking to see parents given more time to be able to work from home, the flexibility. I mean, there are ways around it. There's an international organization in Nigeria that I visited. And when I went into the office, I saw different rooms named with different powerful women in Nigerian history. And I asked what these rooms were. And they said to me that these are nursing rooms for mothers who have babies so that they could bring their babies to work. So you literally can bring your child to work. Imagine the sense of satisfaction and calm you would feel and how much it would aid productivity as a mother to know you can take your child to work, knowing that if anything is happening, they can just come and call you from upstairs to come look after the child. Or every 2 hours or so, you can go down, check on your child, breastfeed your child. It will aid productivity. So there are so many measures that need to be put in place to ensure that we make childbearing and raising of children conducive. The children are the foundation of our future.
Yeah, but once again, also reiterating the importance of a present father.
Yes.
And a present husband. which is extremely important, and it should never be put to the side, and given, I mean, Nigerian men would always have one excuse or the other, but it's a very, very important role that they should play when every child is born. If you can't be in the maternity room while just giving birth, at least be there, in the months or maybe even years after.
And let's backdate it. Be there from the months preceding the delivery, right? You're not just saying, oh, you've gotten this woman pregnant. Be there through this period because it's a joint effort. Because a lot of the times, it's a lot of women. In fact, one day we should do a survey. Many women will share with you how childbirth has traumatized them because they didn't get the necessary support that they needed.
Absolutely.
Right. So we need to do more for them. We need to create more opportunities for fathers to be able to be a part of their children's lives. We talked of Oyo State and giving how many months?
I think Oyo gave 6 months.
Yes, and then Enugu gave 3 weeks paternity leave in 2015. He approved 3 weeks. Oyo State's nursing mothers got 6 months. That's for the nursing mothers. So we need to do more to be involving fathers in all of this.
One thing I should also mention, it's probably a good time, the tradition called Omugwo in Nigeria, where the mother of the bride, the mother of the woman who just gave birth, exactly, comes to spend, I don't know how long, a month or so, 2 months or 3 months.
No, depending on the family.
Exactly, with the woman to guide her through that process. It has been an age-long tradition in Nigeria. And that's what a lot of times the fathers use as an excuse to, head out. And I mean, he has to work. He has to do what is necessary. When we talk about paternity leave now, we probably even need to read more to find out what the Nigerian government is doing with regards pay. Is this a 14-day paid leave?
Yes, it is.
If you're going to be increasing to 2 months or 3 months, is this going to be paid?
No, if you're increasing it, it won't be paid.
Exactly, because that's going to be the excuse that men would have. But aside that part where you need to still work, you need to bring money home. This is it's a very expensive period taking care of a child. And of course, that's when they invite the mother to come and spend time. Omugwo shouldn't be pushed away. I think it's important also. She needs that level of support. But the support that she needs from her husband is also very, very important. The presence of a man in that period is very, very important.
I mean, I once spoke to a friend who has a child and asked her how the journey was for her. And she said to me that what helped her was reminding herself that her husband loved her. Because she said sometimes she would wake up at night while she's nursing the baby and can't sleep and seeing the man snoring away, and she would resent the man and say, look, I'm here waking up every 2 hours to feed this child and you are there snoring away like nothing is wrong, whereas my whole life has been brought to a halt. Yeah. So I think it's very important.
In some homes, even right days after childbirth, the woman is still expected to play the role of caretaker.
Host,
she's still expected to cook. She's still expected to clean. She's still expected to look after the baby that she married. She's still expected to look after the whole home, which is very unfair. Very, very unfair. And I always say that Nigerian men don't have enough conversations with themselves on very important things. They can talk sports, they can talk money, they can talk some of those things, but the things that really affect, the things that affect women, the things that affect the society, the things that affect men themselves, they don't have enough of those conversations. And I think it's important that every man who understands the importance of these things, pastors, church leaders, these are conversations they need to be having with men in order to build better societies in every way possible.
It's interesting that when you were talking about it just now, you said, look after the baby that she married. Very All right, so congratulations to men, and we hope to see more men involved in parenting. It's a job for two people. Do not leave the woman alone. It's not her sole responsibility. She did not impregnate herself. Thank you very much, and all the best.